Watch that show, The Polygamist, guys. Second person told me I need to watch The Polygamist. It's an African-based movie, but they say it is something else. It's your boy Doug. June 19th, out here grinding. We are in Riverdale, hit Stone Mountain, and then we headed home. I'm just coming out to do a couple of calls today. Hassan. I should be there in a few minutes. 27 miles, 32 minutes. Let's get on back out there. Man, so if y'all are watching this post for today, I've been told twice that I need to watch The Polygamist, African-based movie. People are saying it is something else. Straight, man. Ran that light. It showed up, didn't even see it. Okay. If somebody went to Walmart, probably not. At home, didn't go to Walmart. It's just gear. Here for 1 minute. stayed at Walmart. She went to Walmart. It tell on you. You went to Walmart, huh? That's about. Dang, get no sodas, I bet you. August.
You get one at grillrescue.com for the absolute cleanest grill in the nation.
Democratic Socialist Janice Lewis George winning the Democratic primary for mayor of Washington, D.C., the latest far-left candidate poised to lead a major city.
Using the curfew as a tool for our young people is dangerous. We have federal troops who are in our city, mass ICE agents who are in our city. And these are the people enforcing this law on our young people. And these are not individuals who are trained in de-escalation. We're not going to get ICE off our streets by fearing this president. And we're not going to protect our rights or home rule by obeying in advance.
All right, here we go. President Trump has threatened to take back D.C. if this woman won, and looks like she won.
I wouldn't like it, and maybe we'd take back Washington and run it on the federal basis. We won't put up with it. We're not going to lose our businesses. By the way, Washington now is a safe, beautiful place.
U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, the one and only Jeanine Pirro, joins us now. So great to have you back in
It's good to be back. Thank you.
See you in the flesh.
Why don't you stay and do the five?
Yeah, okay.
So it's really amazing where all these socialists are popping up. They're all popping up in one-party Democrat cities where the years and decades of failure by Democrats has led to socialism. And what makes this woman so mad in D.C.? The success that you and President Trump are having cleaning up D.C.
Well, there's no question. I mean, the president made D.C. safe and beautiful. He promised to do it, and that's just what he did. In the end, what we got are historic reductions in crime. Remember, D.C. was one of the most violent cities in terms of homicide in the country. And in 2023, this candidate, Janice, actually voted. She was the only no vote on the D.C. Council to make sure that we could get pretrial detention on violent offenders as well as carjackers. She doesn't want bail. She doesn't want pretrial detention. And the problem is that we've made such hard-fought gains. Crime is down to historic lows, homicide, historic lows, carjackings, robberies, burglaries, 60%. It's crazy. It is a safe city because of what the president has done. And she apparently is promising to go back on everything. She is not the kind of person who is supporting our agenda.
Including curfews.
Curfews are ridiculous. She thinks the very presence of federal agents in D.C. is offensive to young people. So the truth is that what you can do is we've got to make sure that the mayor, and Mayor Bowser has been great on this, is creating these emergency curfew situations when we see on social media that some of these kids are going to meet up. And then my job, which has been since I got there, to reduce the age of accountability, because these kids can be 17, shoot someone and go to family court, go to an ice cream social and get out and do it again. Yeah. I mean, it's backwards there.
Muriel Bowser, that noted right-wing conservative Republican.
That's how she's seen by these people.
Well,
Incredible.
she was working with President Trump on this, that's all going to change.
Because she cared about her people.
And she's made a difference. D.C. is safe now. The president is right. Historic lows in homicides is crazy. Yeah. We've made over almost 15,000 arrests, taken 1,600 guns off the street. I took 28 guns off the street Thursday. What day is today? Friday. Wednesday. You know, we're doing it. We're getting it done, and we can't go back.
The DOJ is reportedly subpoenaing J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Part of that investigation on whether or not they improperly targeted customers based on their political views.
Mm-hmm. Look, those are subpoenas that came out of my office, and the issue is this. Americans have a right to feel that when they put money in a bank, that their bank is safe. Banks are telling Americans they are safe. You cannot be debanked because of your religious views, your political views, and our job is to make sure that these banks are not going back on their promise to protect people's money. And that's what this investigation is about.
Right. When the government, Joe Biden's government, cracked down and told them to do this, does that matter?
It doesn't matter, because if the bank has made statements saying that they're going to protect your money, it doesn't matter what the president is saying. Right now, they've got an obligation to the bank, to the people who put their money in the banks, to protect that money.
So you celebrated your 28th birthday, I think last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Thanks.
And you got yourself a present.
I did. My girlfriend Lori Simmons, who is this force in terms of Big Dog Ranch and rescuing dogs, has rescued 2,000 beagles, and I, of course, being a dog lover, I took 2 of these beagles, and what they did at Big Dog Ranch, this is Lucy, where's Snoopy?
Lucy?
This is Lucy, and what we're doing is we're against animal testing. They're doing horrible things to these dogs, and what we're trying to do is make sure that people know that animal testing is not needed anymore with AI and organ chips and all this other stuff that we're doing. It's time to end all the cruelty.
Well,
so if you want one of these beagles, go to Big Dog Ranch.
But not yours. You're keeping these.
These are mine.
Yeah,
this is Snoopy and Lucy.
Are these your first beagles?
I never had a beagle. I only had standard poodles.
How much do you love them?
They love me. It's amazing. All they want to do is
have
cuddle.
6 dogs? How do you go out of town?
Well, I do. I say goodbye, and then I can't take them to D.C. But they live in a very nice house with a very nice yard, and they all get along. Those are my poodles over there.
Right.
And look, they're all rescues.
Did beagles get along with poodles? Did you look up whether beagles get along with poodles?
No.
So you're just
I was going to make sure they got along.
Natural selection.
I don't need someone to tell me if they can get along. I got to make sure they get along. These are very sweet dogs, and you know what? They've never seen the sun.
Why did they love Joe Biden, bro?
Together.
Look. Joe Biden still stands. He's good to talk. Hey man, somebody come get Joe. Oh shit. Oh, they love Joe.
I want to really see something that said, take a Hey, this is comedy. I've been laughing for the last 20, 30 minutes, man. Every time I see this clip, it is comedy. Oh, look at this. They left him on stage. He don't know where the hell he at. Where's my granddaughter?
Wife left him too.
Oh boy, I'm crying. I'm crying. I think I farted on myself. Oh man, please forgive me, man. Y'all please forgive me tonight, family. This is the last one tonight on the show. We having fun tonight, god dog it. We having fun tonight, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, boy. Ooh, they did wrong for doing old Joe like this, man. They still sending him out there. He's still out on the camera, man.
So here's the thing. When someone says hello, there's usually a response back. So let me just tell you what's going on. You're being rude and disrespectful to your probation officer. You act like you're not on probation. When I say there's to be no contact, there's to be no contact. And now you're using profanity towards the probation officer like you're not on probation and that this is somehow his fault. It is not. It's all your fault. You're here because you're on deferred adjudication for injuring someone who's an elderly person. That's why you're here. You're not on probation because he placed you on probation. You're not on probation because he committed a crime and you're taking the time for him. You're here because of your actions and you're acting as though none of this is your fault. This is all your fault, 100%.
I'm not acting like none of this is my fault, and I take accountability for what I've done.
No, you have not taken accountability. Did you take accountability for using profanity towards him?
No, I didn't.
And I don't know why people think that when you're in a situation where you should be using logic to find what are using your cognitive skills to decide how I'm going to proceed with this, instead you go after your probation officer. And the probation officer, let's be honest, every defense attorney will tell you a probation officer holds your life in their hands. Because you know what? Let's say you're supposed to report to probation at 9 a.m. and you end up reporting at 9:05. Guess what? You have not reported at 9 a.m. A probation officer can say, hey, that's a no report. But sometimes they may take sympathy on you and say, I realize what's going on. They're here. But they don't have to do that. Yes. And you using profanity towards a probation officer is not helping your case at all.
And I understand that. Then the reason why I did, and I just said the F word because he called me a liar. And when I didn't lie to him about any situation that was going on, I sent them all the information from my legal aid lawyer. I sent them everything. He even gave me his personal number for me to contact him. When I had to go to the emergency room and had to get a blood transfusion, he even offered to take me there. He called.
This is not your blood. This is not about your blood.
I know it's not about my blood, but it's he basically, when I went to go see him, he was telling me that I lied to him, which I never lied to him about anything.
No. This starts with you wanting to go to a location where I said you are not allowed to have contact. That's where all of this came up. Then everything snowballs into something else.
Yes, ma'am. And I did exactly what you told me to. I didn't go to that location. I filed my police reports. I did everything that I could do without going to that location.
All right, so then that was it. I don't know, what do you expect him to do? Like, I like for people to just put their cards on their table. Sometimes people are like, Judge, but I like everybody to have an understanding. So you go to him because you want to go to a location and retrieve items when I told you couldn't go to that location. So we're back to the point. What did you want him to do?
I asked him, was there any assistance or any way that I could? He told me, I don't know. Mm-hmm. He told me he didn't know, he couldn't help me. So I didn't have no other choice but to call the police, make a police report. I had my daughter, she's 16 years old, to go there. When she went there, she took pictures of everything that was outside.
All right, so again, what did you want him to do? He said, hey, I don't know, there's nothing I can do for you.
When I contacted Ms. Adams, she told me to ask my probationer if there's any assistance that he can help me or provide without going to that location.
And he's saying no.
And he said no. And I told him I don't have no other choice. My children is 16 and 18. They didn't have the money. They don't have money for you all. My daughter just quit her job because no one was able to take her to work. So I didn't have nobody else to help me get
So again, I don't know how this translates into you using profanity against him. He's like, I can't help you. And honestly, it's not his job to help you get your things. Really, you know what a probation officer's job really is? And they'll correct me if I'm wrong. But their job is to make sure that you abide by your conditions. Everything else that they're doing is just extra, but that's not their job. It's not, for example, if you can't pay your utilities, it's not their job to find places for you to pay utilities. They'll do it. They'll say, here's some places that you can call. But that's not his job. And if he tells you, I can't help you with getting your things, again, we're back to the point. He says, I can't help you. So what do you want him to do? He's like, I can't help you. And how does that translate into using profanity against him? And then sending him an email telling him all this is his fault and it's on his shoulders. It's not. All of this happened because of you. Guess what? You can't go to that location because you injured an elderly person. That's why it's all your fault. And there are consequences for all our actions.
It is. And I communicated with him. I told him everything. I sent every case number. I even sent him my legal aid information. I sent him everything. I tried to do everything the right way before it even went out of hand.
But see, here's what you don't understand, and you're not internalizing what I'm saying. He is telling you, I can't help you with that. And you still keep going back to him. He's already told you, I can't help you with that. Giving him numbers to your legal aid, giving him numbers to this person saying, we're trying to help her get her things. He can't help you with that. His whole role is to supervise you on probation. That's it. He can't say, you know what I'm going to do? I tell you what, let me go over there and get your things for you. He can't do that. That's not his job. Now, if he offers to do that, great, but he doesn't have to. He has told you more than once, I cannot help you with that. I still don't understand how that goes and translates into you using profanity against him. His job is hard, as it is. And then to have somebody come in and use profanity against them, that's an issue. And then to have you go into that location when you know you're not supposed to, that's an issue.
I never did go to the location. I had to call the police for a different location.
All right, so you called the police, and then what happened?
I made the police report. I went down to the property. I also went down to 315, the headquarters, to fill out all the information because the day I was arrested, everything was stolen. My car, my credit cards, everything. So I'm trying to do everything that I have to do the best way that I can, the right way.
All right, the right way is not using profanity against your probation officer. That's not the right way. The right way is not being disrespectful. And you know what? This whole thing with the injury to the elderly, where I ordered anger management, you do have an anger problem. Because when people tell you no, you can't accept that, you take it to 100. He said, I can't help you with that. And then you use profanity against him. You're calling him all sorts of names. Nobody likes to be called out there, give a name.
I didn't call him out his name. I just said it was fine. I didn't have no other choice, so I would have to figure it out.
No. We're not here because you said it was just fine. Where is the officer? If you can come forward, please. All right. So, you're Officer Wolf?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let me ask you a question. Are you able to go to her former location and get her items for her? No?
No, ma'am.
That's your answer, no. Are you able to file a police report for her so she can get her items?
No, ma'am.
So he can't do that. So what do you want from him?
I have to do it on my own. So if there's something he can help me with, and then that's
Well, see, that's the thing. Now, when you're before me and you're looking at potentially going to prison, now you're like, oh, well, he can't help me with that. He's told you that. Be an adult. Solve your own problems. This is supposed to be problem solving. That's why you're on probation, for anger management issues, because you can't problem solve. I don't know. Maybe you never were taught to problem solve. But if he's telling you, no, he can't do that, that's not in his job description, then there's no need to use profanity against him. He's told you, I can't do it.
Judge, if I could
Yes.
speak for a minute. Throughout my time working with Ms. Holmes, it's been pretty apparent that she has a pattern of not taking responsibility or accountability for her behavior. This last incident just kind of made it painfully obvious how there's a deeper issue. There's a heart issue. Until she can get her heart right, this pattern of behavior is going to continue for her throughout her life. And she's going to continue to be a danger to herself, to the community, to her victims, everybody. She needs to get her heart right and realize that choices and actions have consequences, good and bad, intended and unintended, anticipated, unanticipated. And until she gets her heart right and realizes that, this is just going to continue.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for coming down.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you're going to have to start using your cognitive skills and your problem solving. That's it. When somebody tells you they can't do something, then they can't do it. If somebody tells you, no, I can't take you to the grocery store today, figure it out. He is not really responsible for anything outside of his job description. If he does something outside of his job description, that's just probation officers being nice.
And I understand that. But why would you offer to try to help me when I'm asking for some type of help? And then you're telling me you can't help me.
Yeah, he said no. Let me just tell you, here's a perfect example. And I've been in situations where people have told me no. And my thing is, I want you to not send me place to place. If the answer is no, just tell me no and I'll figure it out. He told you no. If I ask him right now, like for example, I had to rush here this morning because I don't like being late, and I was filling in for somebody else on another matter. And guess what? My tank is at a 4th. I don't like it being at a 4th. Now, would somebody go, excuse me, could you go and put gas in my car for me?
No.
They're going to say no. Now, what do I do with that? Do I use profanity against him? How dare you not go put gas in my car? He's just told me no. So guess what? As an adult, I got to figure it out. That's it. You got to figure it out. And your figuring it out is, let me get angry with somebody and use profanity against them. And maybe they'll then become so afraid of something and say, okay, we'll do that for you. Not his job. And I can tell you right now, if you don't start treating people with respect, one, you're not going to get anywhere, because when you disrespect people, they don't want to help you. And number two,
respect.
No, you did not. That's the thing. You're still in this clouds. Like these are not, I don't know how your relationships are outside of this world, but in this world, you need to treat people with respect, whether you respect them or not. Like right now, you can hate my guts all you want to, but you had better say your honor or judge. You understand? You better not be calling me out of my given name. And you better not be calling probation officers out of your given name. I'm sure he told you, no, I cannot help you. And when somebody says, no, I cannot help you with something, maybe you want to ask them again. You ask them again. If you ask the third time, you're begging. And he's already told you he can't help you with that. That is not his job. That is outside his job description. If he decides to help you outside of his job description, just him being nice. You need to figure it out. The same way people have children, and you figured out how to have children, you need to figure out how to get the rest of your life together. You're on probation because of your actions. And honestly, the reports I received, I will tell you, when I received that report, I told them, file a motion to revoke. And then probation came to me and said, Judge, could we do a compliance hearing and have her come in? And I'm like, yeah, if you all want to do a compliance hearing, we will do a compliance hearing.
Tom Cotton just went on live television and called out this reporter for what...
What just happened to Hakeem Jeffries may go down as one of the most spectacular political faceplants of the year. And it all started with one simple question. Just one, not 20 questions, not a congressional hearing, just one. And suddenly the internet is looking at Hakeem Jeffries the same way a cat looks at a cucumber, completely caught off guard. Now, here's where things get very interesting. The question involved California, Los Angeles, Skid Row, Spencer Pratt, Karen Bass, Nithya Raman, and all sorts of allegations that have already drawn all sorts of attention from the Trump administration, HUD, USPS, LA, HSA, and even discussions involving federal oversight. In other words, this wasn't exactly a story buried on page 47 next to an ad for discount lawn furniture. No, instead of calming concerns, Hakeem Jeffries reached for the political emergency parachute that Americans are getting very familiar with. It's a conspiracy theory. Because the moment that those words left his mouth, the backlash exploded. Now, folks, what happened next reveals something much bigger than Hakeem Jeffries. In fact, it reveals why trust in institutions is completely collapsing, why California has become ground zero for political frustration, and why millions of Americans are demanding answers instead of these talking points. So we're going to break it all down today. But first, of course, if you enjoy cutting through the media spin and all the BS, and you don't mind hanging out with me, go ahead and subscribe right now. And if by the end of the video, if you happen to have enjoyed the show, I think there's a pretty good chance you might like it. Hit the like button on the way out. Oh, and one more thing, guys. If you're looking for free Medicare help through Chapter, click the link in the description down below. Phone number's on your screen right there. Average senior saving about $1,100 a year. So I want to go ahead and start with the moment that sent the internet into absolute overdrive, because Hakeem Jeffries, he wasn't asked 50 questions. No, he wasn't hauled into an 8-hour hearing. He wasn't trapped in an elevator with 20 angry voters with bad breath. He got one question, a single question involving reports about homeless individuals in California, particularly homeless individuals around Los Angeles and Skid Row who allegedly received financial incentives connected to voting activity.
Yep. Oh, thank you so much. Earlier in the week, you told me that there is no election fraud happening in California and that anyone who questions the outcome of the election is a conspiracy theorist. However, there are now homeless people on Skid Row admitting they were bribed with cash, drugs, other incentives to vote Democrat in elections. Does that change your stance at all on whether or not these elections are rigged?
Listen, I'm unfamiliar with those reports, and I wouldn't be surprised if those are part of some far-right conspiracy theory being peddled on the internet to try to convince the American people that there's evidence of fraud in California. By the way, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, when asked about the situation in California, couldn't produce any evidence, said there was none. And yet still, in my view, irresponsibly tried to peddle and fan the flames of a conspiracy theory in terms of California. Why are they doing this? Why don't Republicans just actually focus on trying to convince the American people that Republicans are committed to turning their lives around? It's because Republicans have been such a disaster in terms of the economy, healthcare, immigration enforcement, the Epstein scandal and the ongoing cover-up that is being led by the Trump administration, and of course, the reckless and costly Republican war of choice that is failing in real time, as the American people have concluded, in the Middle East.
Now, normally politicians love easy questions, like, what ice cream do you like? I happen to like Ben & Jerry's, the cheesecake flavor. I think it's the cheesecake. Anyway, how's your day going? Would you like another photo op? But this wasn't one of those questions. Now, here's the funny part, guys. The question itself wasn't what exploded online. The answer did, though, because almost immediately, Hakeem Jeffries appeared to reach for what many Americans now recognize as Washington's favorite emergency exit, the political version of pulling a fire alarm and running for the parking lot. Yeah, suddenly social media lit up, comment sections caught fire. People started sharing the clip faster than a neighborhood Facebook group spotting a suspicious squirrel. The question wasn't the story, the answer became the story. And what started as a California controversy quickly turned into something a whole lot bigger than that, a debate about trust. Now, I want to talk about the 3 words that seemed to launch 1,000 comments. Conspiracy theory. The moment that those words came out, half the internet practically responded in unison. Oh boy, here we go again, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Because for a growing number of Americans, that phrase has become a lot less of an explanation and more of a reflex. Ask a question, conspiracy theory. Want documents? Conspiracy theory. Want an investigation? Believe it or not, it's a conspiracy theory. Now, at this point, guys, some voters just hear those words and immediately mark their calendars for 6 months later, because lately, a lot of people feel like today's conspiracy theory has a strange habit of becoming next year's congressional hearing. Now, obviously, real conspiracy theories do exist. Nobody's arguing otherwise, okay? But a lot of Americans are increasingly wanting something different from their leaders. Not these labels, not these talking points, not the political version of move it along, nothing to see here. We want answers. Show the evidence, address the facts, explain the facts, address the concern. It's that simple. Why, whether you're talking about California, Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, Spencer Pratt, Donald J. Trump, or Hakeem Jeffries, voters are asking very simple questions. Can somebody just answer the question without acting like they're trying to escape a pop quiz? And this is exactly why the backlash kept growing. So I want to talk about this smirk, okay? Because wow, this freaking smirk, guys. The internet noticed it. The comment section noticed it. Pretty sure people on the International Space Station noticed this thing. Now, maybe it meant nothing. Maybe Hakeem Jeffries was thinking about lunch. Maybe he remembered a funny meme. Who knows? But politics isn't about what people mean. It's all about what people see. And many viewers, they saw a politician that was looking awfully comfortable while dismissing concerns that they seriously considered. And so this is where things went sideways, because a lot of Americans, we can handle bad news. What we can't stand is feeling like we're being laughed at or gaslit. The moment voters think you're rolling your eyes at them, you got a problem. And judging by the reaction online from Dollar Store, Hakeem Jeffries, from Walmart, Obama, suddenly he had a very big problem. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you happen to know someone who still thinks trust in institutions is at an all-time high, go ahead and send them this video. Don't even say a word, just send the link to them. The comment section will explain everything. So let's go ahead and get to California, shall we? Because of course it's California, right? Now at this point, California produces political headlines faster than Hollywood can produce superhero sequels. Look, the allegations involve reports from Los Angeles and Skid Row. The homeless individuals were allegedly offered incentives connected to voting activity. Now remember, guys, allegations are not proof, claims are not convictions, but questions are still questions. And this is what a lot of people want answered. Instead, critics say that they feel like every concern just gets filtered into the same folder labeled nothing to see here, keep it moving. Which, as you might imagine, has the exact opposite effect. Because the faster people are told not to look, the faster people start looking, and they really want to know what's behind the curtain, right? So this is exactly why this story refuses to disappear. Now, enter Spencer Pratt. Now, no. If you told somebody 10 years ago that Spencer Pratt would become part of this, one of the most talked about political stories in Los Angeles, they would have probably assumed that you accidentally mixed up TMZ with C-SPAN. But here we are, guys, 2026. Spencer Pratt's voters and supporters began raising all sorts of questions about how the vote count unfolded.
The 2 big topics. Let's start with Spencer Pratt, because I watched this thing go down. Again, after the day's vote, Spencer Pratt was solidly second. One thing I never understood, guys, is they had Karen Bass with a check mark around already. Spencer Pratt was within a couple of percentage points of Karen Bass for the lead, and the third place, whatever that her name is, she was far, far behind, but they wouldn't give Spencer that check mark until the very end when they flipped it and Spencer becomes third place. I'll start with you, Tom. Funny business or not?
Well, the way they operate, they beg you to assume that there is funny business going on. Keep in mind that this third candidate, Rahman, entered at the very end after already endorsing Bass. She wasn't endorsed by her own DSA. She lost her own area around where she lives, her own district, and then she went up a huge percentage, almost double the percentage of Bass and Pratt in a very short period of time to vault into second place.
Yeah, how does that happen? So, how in the world does that happen? Because I remember Bass, and then Pratt, and then all of a sudden she's way third. She's like 6 or 7 percentage points below, and Spencer Pratt was only 1 or 2 behind Karen Bass, but they gave Bass a check mark off the top. Did they stop counting her votes and maybe, I don't know, maybe threw the Democrat votes to net her? Nellen, whatever the heck her name is, sorry, now.
Rahman, yeah.
Rahman.
Look, it's not believable, and they've also shut off our ability to look at all those ballots with their SB 73. So there's only 2 ways this could have happened: an extraordinary circumstance, or they harvested ballots in an illegal manner. And the way they conduct themselves, they act guilty, and that's why there is no assurance in California, no integrity. The voters don't trust the process, and this hurts because it's the Republicans stay at home, and that's exactly what the Democrats want.
Now, at one point, he appeared to be running stronger than many people expected. Then came the late counting, and came the controversy. Then came the internet detectives. And folks, once internet detectives show up, good luck getting them to leave. So some supporters started asking, well, what exactly happened here? Others wanted more transparency. Others wanted more data. And suddenly a local race became a national conversation, not because everybody agreed, but because everyone was paying attention. And this is where Karen Bass and Lithia Rahman enter the story. Critics began focusing on late vote count updates and changing the standings. Now again, asking questions is not the same thing as proving any wrongdoing, but here's the problem. When confidence is already super shaky, every unexplained twist feels 10 times bigger. Now, imagine watching a football game. Imagine watching the New York Knicks versus the San Antonio Spurs, right? Your team is winning, then the scoreboard changes, and then changes again. And you're like, what's going on with the scoreboard? And then somebody tells you not to ask questions about the scoreboard. This is usually when people start asking even more questions about the scoreboard. You see what I'm saying here, guys? This is exactly what happened here. Supporters wanted explanations. Critics wanted transparency. And the more officials appeared dismissive, the more suspicion grew. Now, whether those suspicions were, ultimately justified or not, one thing became crystal clear. A lot of people no longer automatically trust the process just because somebody in government tells them to. So now, here's where the story gets really interesting, because the biggest issue is not even the fraud, it's trust, or more accurately put, the lack thereof. Think about it, right? If people trust the system, they accept the outcome. If people don't trust the system, every unanswered question becomes a 5-alarm fire. That's the real problem. So whether you're talking about California or Gavin Newsom or the New York Knicks or Karen Bass or Hakeem Jeffries or Donald J. Trump, trust is the currency that makes everything work. And right now, a lot of Americans, they're looking at our institutions the same way that they look at a used car salesman who says, trust me, I got you. This car, it's not a lemon. This thing is going to run to 300,000 miles. Yeah, you might want to get that in writing. The second people stop believing that, they're getting straight answers, suspicion fills the vacuum. And this is exactly why the story keeps on growing, because millions of people feel like nobody's actually answering the questions. This is where the conspiracy theory problem comes back, because many Americans have seen this movie before. You guys remember Russiagate? Remember the Hunter Biden laptop story? Remember when people told certain stories were completely false, right? We were all told, oh, Hunter Biden didn't do this, he didn't do that with the laptop and the cocaine and the bathtub situation and the prostitutes, only for new facts to emerge later? Yeah. Now, whether you agree with those stories or not really ain't the point. The point is the perception, question, dismissal, media outrage. Then 6 months later, everybody quietly pretends that they never said what they said. It's kind of like watching somebody swear that the house is not on fire while standing next to a barbecue grill that's already melting. This is why the phrase conspiracy theory just doesn't land the way it used to. Now, for a lot of voters, it's no longer an argument, it's a warning sign. And every time politicians reach for it, more Americans start wondering what they're so desperately trying to avoid discussing. Now, enter Donald J. Trump, because this is one thing that the Trump administration has made very clear. It's that they're not exactly sending California a Valentine's Day card. They're not. Instead, you've got the White House task force. In fact, it's the White House fraud task force. You've got federal oversight efforts, and of course, you've got increased scrutiny of programs that are tied to election integrity and public spending, and that changes the game. Because now we're no longer just talking about some internet arguments. We're now talking about public agencies asking all sorts of questions. And folks, politicians love investigations, right up until they're the ones that are being investigated, of course.
Here with this whole thing is, how is it that you had, Karen Bass was in first place, Spencer Pratt was in second place, and then this other woman was in third place? You would expect these mail-in ballots to kind of meet that same basic pattern where, number one would get the most votes, number two would get
their vehicle. They would say, oh my gosh, shucks, I didn't know there was a child in this car. Let me pause. But they gave nobody pause. Everybody just still continued with what they were going to do. That's a problem for the court.
Her mom leaves her in jail for 5 months to teach her a lesson. But still, after that, she did the crime.
All right, the court is calling 2023 CR 3848, State of Texas versus Michaela Elise Johnson. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state defense?
Patrick Hancock for the defendant.
All right, and are you Ms. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're here for sentencing. You entered a plea of no contest to robbery on December 4th. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 8 years in the prison. The state is opposing your application for community supervision or deferred adjudication. They're taking certain items into consideration. All right. Did you all have a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, sir.
Defense?
I did, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No.
Defense?
No, ma'am.
Right. State, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. I have Miss Alicia Franklin, Michaela's mom.
All right, Miss Franklin. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear. If you can state your name for the record.
Alicia Franklin.
All right, defense.
Miss Franklin, good morning.
Good morning.
You and I have spent a lot of time together regarding Michaela, is that correct?
Correct.
And you are aware that Michaela has accepted responsibility for a robbery here in Brick County?
Correct.
And today is the day that the judge can either send her to prison or entertain her application for probation or deferred adjudication.
Correct.
Ms. Franklin, let me just ask you, how old is Michaela?
As of now, she is 18. When the case started, she was 17.
And when did she turn 18?
November 3rd.
And where is she a student at?
At Roosevelt High School.
What grade is she in?
She's a senior.
And being in Roosevelt High School, has she made future plans, applied to any universities, or done anything at this point in her senior year?
Yes, she was accepted to UTSA, and we're pending.
Excuse me, please whisper.
Say it again now.
She was accepted to UTSA, and we're pending the application for Clark Atlanta University.
Very good. And how is she doing in school?
She's doing good. She's on my honor roll. Right now she has all A's and perfect attendance since she's been out.
And did Michaela request a letter from one of her school counselors to offer to the court today?
She did.
Ron, I tendered this to the state for their review. At some point, you'd like me to look at that, Judge.
All right, any objections to the court reviewing this?
No.
All right, you may continue.
Ms. Franklin, With regard to that letter, is it a positive review of how Michaela's doing at Roosevelt High School right now?
It is. Michaela's right now, she's since her release, she's at the best she's ever been. She's focused, she's serious about furthering her future for college, and she's on the right path.
I'd like to take you back to, I guess, the time around this offense. And before I do that, I want to ask you, are you a single mom?
I am.
Does Michaela have a father in her life who's active or?
He's not active, not consistently.
And does she have any siblings?
She does. She has a brother and a sister from her father.
But living in your household is
No, just me and Michaela.
I want to take you back to around the time of the offense. Do you remember getting a call that Michaela had been locked up for some very serious offenses?
Yes, I do.
And can you tell the court what your response was?
That she needed to sit there. I left her in there. She needed to understand what she had done and take responsibility. I left her in there for 5 months before I bonded her out, so she could understand that she didn't do anything, it wasn't something small. She needed to understand exactly what she did and what she could look forward to. She needed to know what prison or their county was, what jail was.
And do you think those 5 months had a significant impact in her life?
Most definitely. I know for a fact she doesn't want to go back. She definitely has a true meaning of what jail is.
And was that your goal at that time?
That's definitely was my goal, because I could have bonded her out the same day or the next day. I mean, I could have got the financial means to get her out. So it was definitely my goal for her to learn her lesson, and hopefully we don't ever have to revisit this again, which I don't think we will. I honestly think that she didn't learn her lesson.
Miss Franklin, let me ask you, at the time when she was arrested, were there some behavioral problems that you picked up on?
Yeah, there was, but I thought she was just being a rebellious teenager. I didn't realize she was like depressed and had low self-esteem until she had suicidal thoughts. I took her to Little Ridge, but they let her out and she did a little counseling here and there. So I thought she was just being more rebellious to herself. I honestly didn't know it was mental health issues there, but once I did know, I've gotten her help.
What mental health issues have you discovered regarding Michaela?
Definitely depression, low self-esteem. We've been going through exercises with the counseling sessions. And me, myself, just trying to boost her up and get her on the right path to feel good about herself.
And do you think you're on a positive path right now?
Most definitely we are.
She's back living at home?
She lives at home. Our relationship is really good. She's more open. We actually have conversations about how she's feeling. And I think we're on a really good path.
And that's different than what it was before the
Most definitely. She would stay there somewhat, lock herself up in her room. Just for me, what I thought was normal teenage stuff, but definitely it was a little deeper than that.
Ms. Franklin, you own a business. Would you tell the judge what you do for
I do. I'm Sugar Glamour Salon, a hair salon in San Antonio.
And have you and Michaela talked about her interest in working in the salon?
Yes. Actually, before that, she did. She was my assistant. And to be honest, I need her back as an assistant, but she wants to be a barber and to get her through college. It'll be something for her to fall back on. And I can, I'm also an instructor, so she can get some of her hours through me.
You mentioned that she's been accepted to UTSA.
Yes, she's been accepted to UTSA, but she's also, we're pending the application for Clark Atlanta, which she preferably would want to go.
And what would be her interest in studying college?
Business marketing.
So you left her in jail for 5 months, and now she's been on pre-trial release as a condition of her bond.
Correct.
I know we had one GPS circumstance that we had to take up with the court, but other than that issue that was straightened out here in the courtroom, do you think she's been compliant with all rules? rules?
Yes, she's been compliant, and I also make sure she's compliant. I mean, we get home on time, way before time. We don't take no shortcuts. So yeah, she's definitely compliant.
I know that today we had the opportunity, the three of us, you, me, and Michaela, to go through the pre-sentence report. You can see there are some pretty raw feelings on the part of the listed complainant.
Yeah.
Can you tell me if you think, even before today, do you think Michaela recognizes just how serious this offense was and the fear that people were placed in and the after effects of that fear?
Yeah, she definitely recognizes that. She's definitely voiced how remorseful she is for this. I know for Christmas we did, she wasn't able to actually go to the battered women's shelter, but she did produce a toy drive, so where she marketed it, and we received a lot of toys, I think over 500, and took it back to the battered women's shelter. She definitely is remorseful, and she definitely understands that she put these people in fear, and it's not to be taken lightly.
Very good. Could you address very quickly whether you think your daughter would be a good candidate for probation or deferred adjudication in this court?
I think she would be a great candidate. I think, matter of fact, I know she has a bright future. This was something that she got herself into that I know she regrets. And I don't think that she should be sent to jail. She's done 5 months, and I understand that it's not the same as 10 years, but she definitely recognizes and has had a taste of what jail is, to not do this again and not be in any more trouble, and to succeed and hopefully help other juveniles and help other people who are going in that direction.
Ma'am, that's all the questions I have. The state has an opportunity to ask you any questions they want.
Yes.
Any questions?
Were you aware that this offense occurred on February 8th of 2023?
Once I got a call from the Michaela when she was already in custody.
So you knew the date?
Yes.
And what day was that of the week? Do you remember?
I do not.
Would it surprise you that it was a Wednesday?
I mean, I don't know.
It was a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Would it surprise you that this offense occurred shortly before 1 p.m.?
The whole thing surprised me.
But I'm asking specifically about the time at which the offense occurred. Would that surprise you? Did you know that it happened?
I did know. I mean, I've known since by reading the papers. And
Where should Michaela have been?
She should have been at school.
So, do you know, or did Michaela ever talk to you about what happened during this offense?
Yes.
So you're aware that the victims in this case was a mother and her young 4-year-old son?
Yes, sir.
And you had a chance to read the victim impact statement?
Yes, sir.
And did it shock you that this had a drastic effect on that family?
No, sir. I definitely understand the turpitude of the case.
So you understand what the victim's feeling when she's saying that prison would be appropriate here?
I don't think it would be appropriate for Michaela for the simple fact.
I'm gonna ask if you could answer my question. Would it surprise you or does it shock you that the victim in this case is asking for prison?
No, sir.
Is it understandable?
It definitely is understandable.
And were you aware that the other two people that participated in this act, that they were both younger than you?
Yeah.
So she was the oldest one out of the group, right?
Okay, yes.
So she should have been able to make better decisions than the other two, correct?
I don't agree with that. The other two had been in trouble, I understand, and she also was the only girl. So.
And specifically her role in this act, were you aware that she was the person that drove the car that boxed in the victim and her son?
I understand that she was the driver, yes, sir.
Specifically that boxed in the victim and her son.
I understand.
Nothing else to say.
All right, any other questions?
Ms. Franklin, I think I tendered it to the judge as a part of the other letter, but we did take Michaela to be evaluated by Mark Harris.
I did.
He's a licensed therapist, is that correct?
Yes.
Judge, if I didn't give you that.
Yes, you did, and I reviewed it.
Okay.
It's attached to that.
Thank you, Judge. And you had the opportunity to look at his assessment, and that's helped you on a path of understanding her now, is that correct?
Yes, it did.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. All right, defense, call your next witness.
Judge, that's it.
All right, did your client wish to say anything?
Judge, I think I'm going to speak for her.
All right, so I want to let the parties know that part of my question, or maybe you can address this, counsel.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it says that she is minimizing her role. And it says, regarding the instant offense, the defendant stated, I have no comment at this, which I understand.
Sure.
But then she comes back and she does make a comment. And it says, the defendant later stated, I feel it needs to be looked into more rather than what they are saying.
And I think we addressed that actually this morning, Judge. I think her point on that is she was charged with aggravated robbery. She did not possess, hold, or yield a gun. And so it's been kind of a process of explaining that to her. So I think that she's not minimizing her role as far as doing things with those young men. However, I think she's made a distinction that, contrary to what the state wants to put forward, is that she was not the leader of this. She was a follower in this, and she did not possess or hold a gun. And so I think as to Miss Ballard's point in the PSI, maybe she could have gotten out of the car and said, hey, don't do that. She didn't do it. But the point of the matter is that she was in the car and not actively terrorizing these people. I make that distinction, but I also understand that if she was there, that she's a part of it.
All right, because I'm reading the PSI. I'm sorry, reading the stipulations. And the stipulations, it says that she was the one who boxed the driver in.
Yeah, she's gonna box it in.
Well, Judge, we're here taking responsibility for the facts. So I don't think she has said that she's not guilty of this offense. I just think she has a different interpretation of her role versus those young men.
All right. All right. Anything else from the state?
I was one of our urgent advocates that the witness Constantine was dressed. It was a brown sweater, is what she's saying that she was wearing.
No, the person who was on Samsung, that wasn't a brown sweater. Unless I'm colorblind or something's going on, they had on no top.
Well, all right, Judge, I just wanted to make sure.
All right, thank you. All right.
I don't want to overstep, but I do want to make a brief argument this time.
Yes, you may proceed.
So, Judge, when I first started representing this young lady, she was in jail. And as her mother said, usually I have to field those questions, how quickly can we get her out of jail? I think Ms. Franklin took a very brave approach for a single mom, and that is that I want her to sit with her. These are serious charges. I want her to get a taste of incarceration. I want her to understand that you have to be penalized or punished for the things that you do. So 5 months passed by, and so I think that the value in that here in the courtroom today is that she has a taste of incarceration. And I think she's come out of jail, Judge, and the letter from the Roosevelt High School from Ms. Howard says she's really doing well in school. It's hard for me to believe she's 17 years old when I met her and charged with such a serious crime, and she's turned 18 and she's only 3 months into her 18th year. So Judge, it's one of those things. She's got a bright future. She's got hopefully acceptance into a school in Atlanta. She's been accepted to UTSA. Those letters, in my opinion, Judge, from Roosevelt High School, those are hard letters to get for the defense. And that's a really fine letter that supports Michaela in her application for probation. I don't want the court to think that she's minimizing this, because we've spent hours talking about the what ifs and how you can't find yourself in that situation. Her mom was bright enough through some talking that we had to get her sessions with Mark Harris. And Mr. Harris is very good through the juvenile probation and through private practice of bringing these young people in. Young people, he specializes in young offenders and working with them with this cognitive behavioral. You can't find yourself in the situation. You can't find yourself around the situation. If you do, then you need to leave. You don't need to be boxing anybody in cars. So I think this has been put square upon Michaela. I think she's done a great job out on bond. I think she's doing a great job in school right now. I can tell you that her relationship with her mother has never been better.